Okay.
All right, that's good.
Also unrelated. Look at this cute thing I got for.
That's so cute. I was gonna love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna freak out.
It's because on the inside it's many tank twos.
Aww.
Yeah. I saw it at the bins and I was like, I love this. I love this weird one. It is a shirt that says "I'm a virgin."
Why is that?
I have no idea. I'm like, what the fuck does that possibly mean?
Jesus, what did they mean?
Here,
by
I'll
that?
take a picture and we can include this in the episode.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
We're here again. We're talking about.
Oh, we're film critters.
I'm Barroo.
I'm Jae Barroo.
There is a pandemic.
We're coming at you live from the bunker.
We're reporting from the central headquarters of.
If you've seen that Econolodge that they painted the sign a solid black,
yeah,
that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's we're recording inside the Econolodge.
So if you hear a bunch of weird noise, that's just people getting tested on, and not the fact that we have a bunch of people upstairs in my house.
It's not roommates. It is patients.
Yeah. So you have to be patient with them.
Fun.
I like that little twist of words.
Yeah, we live in a hell world, and everything's on fire at the moment.
On the upside, though, since Barroo and I likely will not be having jobs soon. Hopefully, a lot of great progress will be made on Film Critters.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much time to work on Film Critters.
Like day one of the pandemic, I was like, so when we inevitably don't have work for like 4 weeks, let's just like work on the next episode and try to bang the script out.
There's no fucking way.
So that might be a tight turnaround time. So you know, keep your eyes peeled for that. But we're not here to talk about the future.
We're not here to talk about real life.
We're here to talk about the past.
Let's dissociate.
Yeah, let's dissociate.
We're here to talk about Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Very good.
Yeah, Portrait d'une jeune fille en feu. It's a good movie.
It is not surprisingly good, but it was a movie that I walked out being like, damn, that was a good movie.
I mean,
kind of a meaty film.
Yeah, where to start? Okay. I would say my favorite aspect of Portrait of a Lady on Fire is how it was really cute how it kind of started on a blank canvas. I know that's like very it's very like French political cartoon-y.
I was gonna say a little.
It's a little on the nose.
A little on the nose, yeah.
But it was cute because the movie like kind of kept that theme throughout, where it was all about the gays, not the. And hey, not you might be thinking when I say gays, what did she just say?
What did she mean by that?
Not G-A-Y-S, silly.
But both, yeah, actually.
Well, both actually.
It's a homonym.
Shut the fuck up.
Banging them out. This epidemic is going great for my brain right now.
Oh my god. It was. It kind of pulled the form of like painting into this sort of like rumination on gays and what gays is and kind of how it affects people. Which kind of culminated in that really incredible scene where it was, while you're looking at me, I'm looking at you, that kind of thing.
But my favorite thing of the film, similarly, is how the film is also structured like a portrait, which I actually hated at first until you pointed that out to me.
Right.
Because at first I was like, the first 45 minutes, I was kind of worried that the film was going to be way too French and was just going to be like, the characters are just empty vessels for you, the audience, to project your ideas onto. And I was like, that's 2 hours and 30 minutes. That does not sound great. And then it got really good. And then you pointed out that the first shot you see of the film is a blank canvas, and then the sort of process of a portrait being made.
Yeah.
And that is how the film is structured, because the first 45 minutes about the first act of the film is kind of broad strokes, giving you a vague shape of what the film is and of what the characters are, because that is how you start a portrait. Mm-hmm. And I just realized when you said like the first shot is a blank canvas, that the last shot of the film is the titular lady on fire in portrait, holding for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just kind of holding on her, specifically not looking at the camera, but gazing away from the camera, in a sort of portraiture pose.
Yeah.
And so even the structure of the film where it's like the visual cues of the beginning and ending are like the beginning and the end of a portrait.
Yeah. And it's really effective. And it's a really effective, like, emotional portrait of a character just because it's like, it's all about sort of this concept of the self that's like put forward, because there's this like moment where there's like, you see the painting and she's like with her daughter and it's like heart-wrenching. It's like, it's like horrifying. And then she's like, has the page flipped open that like is the one where she like drew herself on or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this collection of things that these two people just like have with each other that nobody else gets to have. And that like very last scene, like the very last shot of the movie is like a culmination of that's been happening, like, throughout the film, where like nobody else has this perspective and no one else is looking, and like no one else sees that. No one else understands the context that this like woman is listening to this song that her past lover had told her about.
Had not only told her about, but attempted to play for her.
Yeah.
But couldn't get past the first, there's like she's like describing what the music is and how it sounds to her, because the character has never been to an opera or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then she gets like 45 seconds into it, and then she's like, oh, I can never remember how this part goes. And so in the film, in that last shot, as you're watching her, when it gets to that part of the song, and she's like, it's supposed to be like all the bugs waking up from this thunder, but like I can't remember how to play it, and it gets to that, you can see her like visibly like seize almost for a second and lose a bit of composure, as like essentially the beauty of the music hits her, and like it's this sort of like consummation of this like earlier scene that they had that was really important to them. So it's not just that the song means something to her, it's that it's like she's getting a sense of closure from finally hearing how this music goes, while the artist is essentially getting a type of closure by getting to see her one last time without her seeing her.
Yeah. It's goddamn. It's a really effective movie. Y'all ever yearned?
It's it hits exactly what I love about good gay media, which is about love being tragic.
Boy, it sucks. Holy shit.
How love and romance kind of not actually like the greatest thing, especially when you're gay, especially when it's like 1,000 times more fraught.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I genuinely love that stuff, because I think it's a specific type of tragicness to gay love, not in the like boring Voltron bury your gays way, but this sort of tragicness of gay love that I think makes gay love much more meaningful and much more emotional to gay people, and which both makes for great art. And also, if you're gay and watching gay art like that, you're just like, oh, it do be like that. Oh, it does feel that way.
Shit. Yeah, I thought that's the sort of like historical aspect of it really made for, like, because you could have made this movie about like present day, and it would have been like, maybe like present day homosexuality is still absolutely fraught, and there's still a lot to kind of, there's still a lot kind of getting in between love or whatever, but like the specific things that they went through as women, and like the sort of like arranged marriages and like all of that stuff was just like, it really provided like a really great shorthand for, like historical misogyny and like how men make themselves present in women's lives, and just all of this shit.
Even the history of misogyny in art specifically, because there's a very key plot point where the painter character basically says that she paints under her father's name.
Yeah.
And she releases all of her paintings as if they are recently recovered paintings from her father.
Yeah.
And
God.
It's very heavily implied that it's sort of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink thing in the art world, that they all know that that's not what it is, but that for the purposes of actually having the art have value, they have to pretend that it is.
Yeah, 100%. And there's also there's some sort of plot point about how women aren't allowed to, or they weren't allowed to paint men or something like that.
Yeah. She's allowed to paint, but she can't learn how to paint men, but men can learn how to paint women.
Yeah. Which, whatever. There's a whole bunch of that stuff. And I think like one of my favorite parts of the movie, and one of my favorite aspects of it was this kind of like third wheeling character who basically the second act of the movie is like this woman needs an abortion, and like not a single man is consulted about it, or like they don't go to anybody. They don't go to her lover that like gave her the baby. They're just like, it's just like a bunch of women who are all just like, okay, we know exactly what you're going through. We know what needs to happen. We know this, and this, and like, and they just provide like this kind of internal support structure that feels like secret and sordid, and that sort of like culminates in the awesome scene of them like singing around the fire, which is an incredible scene, and really, that kind of thing. I might normally feel like, oh, this is so corny. This is like a little bit strung in, but like about like the solidarity and like the effects of this shit, like the psychological effects of this shit happening on all of them, and like how important this moment is, really. And to be underscored by this like lesbian stare down is 5-star media.
Ye old Mitch Fest. Shouldn't have said that as you were taking a sip of water.
Wow, thank you.
I think it's also worth noting too that the character who needs to get an abortion is the other kind of hired help to the mistress, and it's in this part of the film sort of as a sort of makeshift, almost like daughter of circumstances to the main characters.
Yeah.
She's younger. She's like supposed to be like maybe 17. Like a teenager, or like early 20s to the characters, like late 20s, definitely is positioned as if she is their daughter, and them taking her to get this abortion is like them stepping up as her makeshift parental figures. And I also realized that I think there's only like one man in the film who really has any sort of role, which is the guy who brings the painter to the island. And then there's the art people at the end of the film. But beyond that, we don't see like any other men.
Yeah, that's very true. There's not very much presence of man in the film. There's like the existential threat of man, where it's like, you're going to Milan to marry this guy because you're bored as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked that kind of housekeeper character. As a foil, I liked her as a foil, not just as like a character and like everything that she brought to the narrative, but I also liked her as specifically this element of like, no, this is platonic relationships between women.
Yeah,
and this is gay. like we're not doing the like they're best friends thing here.
Yeah. I also like the small detail of her doing embroidery over the course of the film.
Yeah.
And how that kind of also works into the film, and the idea of like gaze and capturing things in art to remember them forever. Because there's a part near the end of the film where you see her embroidering this like vase that she's been working on the whole film. And then the camera like pulls out a little more, and the flowers that she's sitting in front of embroidering are dead and have been dead. And yet she is still embroidering them as when she started the project and they were still alive.
I love that.
It was a little small detail that I was like, that's such a clever like reinforcement of themes.
I feel like I really need to check up on Celine Sciamma's like other movies. Girlhood seems kind of interesting.
Did she also do Tomboy? Was that one of the ones on the list?
I don't remember. Yeah, Tomboy is another Celine Sciamma.
That's been on my list to watch forever, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. She seems to have a really strong vision and like a really incredible idea for just like the form of cinema. I mean, I hate to give compliments to a French person, but I mean,
But sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes you gotta. Well, I mean, like that's being a lesbian kind of cancels it out.
Being a lesbian cancels out being French.
If you're gay, you're allowed to be French.
Yeah. And if you're French, you better be gay, or I'll kill you. Let's talk about it. The scene where they do yield LSD
God.
by fingering each other's armpits with drug oil.
I was floored, completely floored. There is this like central canon of lesbian cinema where like I'm not gonna comment on like the accuracy or whatever, but like every time there's a lesbian movie, the sex is like pig shit crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and like I support it. I thought that the ending of The Handmaiden, especially from what I heard from some of my lesbian friends, they thought it was a little bit over the top. But it just feels like a thing. I guess. Lesbians, comment below.
Well, here's the thing about the handmaiden thing of the piggishness is like I've definitely heard lesbians be like, yeah, the scene where they're just like aggressively scissoring, kind of a bit much. The scene where she files her tooth.
That is on point.
That is like a thing where like
that is how
multiple dykes I know have been like, yeah, like people were like, oh, you need to see this movie. And when I got to that scene, I was like, oh, that's why I needed to see this movie.
Yeah, no, The Handmaiden. I don't besmirch The Handmaiden in any other way. It's a fucking masterpiece of a movie. It's one of my favorites. But when they're like doing the bell thing at the end, that was a little silly.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, it wasn't just that they were scissoring; they were ringing bells. Or that.
Scissoring seems like it's in kind of a quantum state of being real. It's like I don't know.
Comment down below if you scissor.
You need more transparency in your. Well, I guess you don't. Yeah. I guess society really ruined that. Keep your secrets. Oh, all right then. You keep your secrets.
Jesus. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm a big fan of like that so much of lesbian cinema made by lesbians, made about lesbians, that is by people who seem chill.
Yeah.
Just fucking just wild, just emotionally fraught, insane, intense sex things. And yes, in Lady on Fire, there's a scene where they do ye old drugs by fingering each other's armpits with CBD oil.
Yep. Which it's not literally it's like it's the brain weird weed, it's or like I don't know what they call
hazel,
it. Witch hazel or something.
The witch hazel,
colloidal
chestnut.
Silver.
Yeah, just colloidal. They just have blue pits for the rest of the movie. That's how they used to find lesbians back in the old days.
Oh my god, pit check.
But yeah, it was so funny when it happened because I was like, this is very clearly the director being like, all right, but now I need a scene that's like when you and your girlfriend are just like hanging out and smoking weed and being dumbasses. But weed wasn't invented in the 1600s.
Yeah, but you know, in ancient France.
So it'll be some like midwives like, take 3 of these, and your child will grow up to have a hand of God bullshit.
Just making something in a fucking mortar and pestle in the middle of a castle. And putting it in your fucking armpits.
It's so funny.
They made it look like it was Molly. Like when her eyes were all dilated and shit.
Her eyes were like fucking... There's like a part where they comment on it. It's even like the fucking you're doing drugs if you're a partner thing of like, oh, your eyes are so big.
What a great scene.
What a great scene in a movie full of great scenes. So yeah, as I said earlier, the first 45 minutes can feel a bit of a slog, but it is... I don't want to be like, it is worth it, but it has purpose.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the sort of broad strokes aspect of the first 45 minutes where it's just kind of getting the contours of like this developing relationship and like what this, meeting this new person and finding out what she's like. It's like kind of, you feel a little bit kind of lost in the weeds in that part of the movie, which I think is a little bit sort of illustrative of the process of like falling in love, I guess. It kind of uses the method to kind of help tell the story, and the sort of like the weirdness and the sort of the pace of the narrative is kind of helps become part of the structure.
Another great scene being the one where like the scene you mentioned earlier, if the like when you gaze at me, I gaze at you.
Yeah.
And so it starts out with the Butch character being like, oh, I know all these things about you because I've been watching you so long since painting, so I can tell exactly what you're thinking. And then the femme, lesbians love movies that are just femmes owning butches, just turning it back on her, but specifically turning it on her in a way that's very clearly making her more pissed off. Where she's like, when you don't know what to say, you scratch your nose, and when you get real pissed off, your eyebrows lower. Like,
what a good scene. It's so much fun. There should just be an entire section of media that's just femmes demolishing butches.
And there is.
There is, thankfully. It's this film.
And it's called Crash Pad.
I don't know the reference because I'm not gay enough.
It's probably now defunct queer Oakland porn scene.
Oh, word.
I'll say, it's been long enough. I'll say Crash Pad sucked.
I don't want to know how many people in Oakland you're pissing off right now.
I don't know.
I mean, they're all the way down there.
I made a zine called Gay Apathy many years ago, and I still lived in Oakland, and there's a line in it about I'm tired of queer porn because it's just people with better ass eating technique and worse pay. And that was about Crash Pad.
All right.
No one who listens to this podcast watches Crash Pad.
They're all Zoomers.
They're literally too young to know what Crash Pad is.
Oh my God. I apologize to our Zoomer audience. Yeah, I don't know. What else?
I don't apologize to our Zoomer.
We don't have a Zoomer audience. They're all
honestly,
deadbeat millennials.
Honestly, we probably do have a Zoomer audience.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, welcome one, welcome all, but we say some adult words on this show.
Well, Zoomer doesn't mean child. Just
to me, it does. I mean, like
Zoomers are like old enough to drink.
To me, like a 22-year-old is a child.
That's fair. 22. If you're 22, listen. Go back to Nick Jr.
Go back. When's your homework due, bitch?
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I love the fact that the portrait of the titular portrait is not the scene of the lady on fire.
Yeah.
That the portrait she draws later of it is inaccurate.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's like, yeah, she shows this incredible like landscape where there's this like tiny. I thought that painting fucking ripped. That was a cool painting.
I want that painting.
Yeah.
I want if they don't sell prints of that, fuck you.
Fuck you.
I want merchandise of French lesbian art films.
Well, you can technically do that because they did hire a woman painter to do essentially all of the paintings in the movie, and she's incredibly talented, obviously, as evidenced by her work in the film.
I was curious about that because there's definitely not to knock the actor, but there's definitely parts where she starts painting, and I'm just like, that does not look right. Like the strokes she's doing are either very clearly trying to not fuck up the painting that's already on screen,
or it's like acting painting.
Yeah, or it's like let me start with a broad stroke, and she starts and it's like an S, and I'm like, there's no shape of the body that's an S like that. Last
night I watched The Love Witch with my roommates, and there's a bunch of really incredible paintings in that movie. But like when it shows her painting them, it's like the most like acting shit. It's just like a dry brush, just like going over the same areas. It's really funny. That movie's great. Everyone watch The Love Witch.
So here's the actual painting.
Beautiful. I really want that.
I misremembered it as her having it consuming her body. It's not, but it is definitely different, which I felt like was definitely an intentional thing of, because like, a big theme of the film was like memory and the use of art to kind of capture memories forever. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's very relevant that like this painting that she definitely did much, much, much later is inaccurate because it's already, so by the time she did it, she had already started to forget the details.
Yeah. That's what a sad movie.
Very, very tragic film, as
really,
it turns out.
Really hurt. That shit hurted.
Calling out The Verge, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is a queer romance that dares you to listen closely. It's a lesbian romance. Just say the word.
It's lesbian.
There's
doesn't start with a Q.
Yeah, there is like few things that annoy me more than when people say either LGBT, or queer for things that have like a more specific identity.
Yeah,
because like queer is like, some people use queer as like an identity. That's fine, but like this isn't a queer romance. It's a lesbian romance movie. The characters are explicitly lesbians. It's not like not a lesbian movie. I don't know.
I'm sick of this erasure.
The LGBT thing is the one that more annoys me because people are like, as an LGBT person, and I'm just like, all for?
You're
damn. Damn.
Well, damn.
Damn, someone's a little greedy bitch. Is that what the B stands for? Is that what the GB stands for? Greedy bitch. Little greedy bitch.
Little greedy bitch time.
Little greedy bitch time.
Oh my god. Let's get Biden to quit.
Yeah.
I thought that the scene where they did like the little painting rendition of like the abortion, that was like great.
Oh yeah. The thing I really liked about that scene is I felt like it was very intentionally like when they were staging it and setting it up to be painted, it felt like they were also, and this ties into themes of gays and etc. Staging it in a way to make it ambiguous if, say, someone else found the painting that it was of an abortion.
Yeah.
Because it was framed in a way where it could easily be of a delivery.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really clever of the film or it was like a very clever, like kind of subtle thing where even in this like kind of quiet a very personal art piece to the three women involved in making it and recreating it so that they can capture that memory for all of them to remember it together. They still have to make it with the idea of if somebody else sees this.
Right. Yeah.
Also, that was another thing I want to remember. Is another thing I really liked in terms of the film's gazing is how often they also tie that into the concept of the audience's gaze, because there are so many scenes of characters gazing at you, the audience, in situations in which you are ostensibly not supposed to be, like, it's ostensibly you were supposed to be seeing something else. You know, scenes of characters being painted and it's a close-up of their face, but they're staring at you as if you are the painter. So while you are gazing at them, you know, they're gazing back at you.
Yeah.
But even in the opening, after the shots of the portraits, the first thing we see is as the painter character is talking, we don't see her. We see the kids surrounding her, the young women that she's tutoring, painting as they're looking up and looking into the camera.
Right.
So one of the first things you get is just a row of artists gazing upon you, the audience.
So good. The movie really hammers you over the head with it in a way that I like.
Really uses film language.
Yeah. It's a fucking movie.
And if I knew more about art or whatever, was French, so I knew more about art by birth.
Fuck it.
There'd probably be other like cute little things. There'd be like, oh, and this was a little reference to Élysée Joniquois 1689 piece. A girl eats a piece of toast.
The woman with the fire earring.
Bitch's Ass by Jean-Luc Ronaldo.
Oh my god, the best painting of the Romantic era.
Bitch's Ass.
Bitch ass.
Man, what a good tragic ending. What a powerful ending.
Yeah.
If you didn't see this movie, why are you watching? But you should go see it. Absolutely cannot recommend it enough. Unless you don't like art films and are easily bored, maybe you won't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe give it a try anyway.
Fuck it.
Smoke a shitload of weed.
Yeah.
It's a fucking gorgeous film. Like
it's really quite gorgeous.
Even if you get bored by like the plot of it, or don't like movies that take place in the old times, and buddy, I'm right there with you. Gorgeous film. Absolutely could recommend getting stoned.
You will love to view Adele Haenel running across the coastline of France as the sea foam sprays.
Those shots were so good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
What a photogenic ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if you want, more in-depth sort of video essays, there's a bunch of video essays about this movie. I saw one that I quite liked. I fucking not gonna remember the name of it.
Put it down below.
It's down below. I'll put it on the screen. You'll see it and all that shit.
Put the whole video essay on the screen.
It's gonna be
stop our
here.
Audio. Put the entire video essay on.
And
there.
yeah, we are keeping the ads on this video, by the way. So we will be.
We will be monetizing another person's hard work here.
Someone else's content. I mean, that's what the show is all about, baby.
Yeah. Hey,
you worked hard on this movie. Now, mine. Now, give me the money.
Mine.
I get money from the internet because you made this thing. So thank you. Thank you, Celine Sciamma, for making sure that I don't become fucking homeless. And because America's not good.
And also thank you for making sure that we are fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Metaphorically and literally.
We do need a good lesbian drama to come out every financial quarter, or else
Every
the economy,
5 years.
or else the economy tanks. That's actually why it's been too long since Portrait of a Lady on Fire came out, and there hasn't been another one. That's why the economy is in this fucking shitter right
That's
now.
actually what that $1.5 trillion that the government just pulled out of its fucking ass and gave to the stock market for them to immediately flush it back into the toilet.
Yeah. America.
I'm gonna try not to get more political. I saw that. I got so pissed off. I swear to God, we will stop being this political and angry on the podcast once Bernie is president.
Yeah.
and that is a threat.
And that is a threat. And yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I hope you.
Oh, and be a lesbian. I guess.
Be a lesbian.
If you have the option.
Yeah. And some of us don't.
We know that in this economy, not everyone can choose to be lesbian.
It's a really long application process. You have to go through like a court. You have to go through like a court of appeals.
Oddly enough, only one of the acronym that has the gatekeeping.
Fuck.
I will let Future Brew decide whether or not to cut that or leave that in.
We'll see. But thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed us talking about this shit. Hope you enjoyed Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh, we need to do our money.
Oh God, money.
Or
capitalism.
Capitalism, yeah.
What would you rather have spent your hard-earned ticket dollars on?
What would I have rather have spent it on?
Yeah. That's a hard one.
Coronavirus test kit.
Oh.
Like if I get like a cheap Walmart one?
Yeah.
Actually, no. I don't know. Maybe like a really good like lesbian painter's like actual portrait of a lady on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she's a lesbian, but Catherine Graham's book of portraits.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really good. I flipped through it at a friend's house. It's very good. I would probably spend my ticket price on that and be just as satisfied.
Catherine, is it Grapham?
I think it's I think I said Graham, but I think it's Catherine Grapham.
Kat, go look at her paintings. She's incredible.
Yeah, well, put that down below as well.
Yeah. I would rather have spent it on pit drugs.
Yeah, pit. Oh, fuck, that's a good choice. They probably did not spend a lot of money on
some
that
pit
too.
Weed. They probably not. It was. They just picked it.
I mean, they did a trade for it. Yeah, like oh yeah, I forgot that they did that. For some reason, I thought that they got it from one of the people at the
I think
burning.
They did.
At the burning gal.
At Burning Man.
at Burning Lady. At Burning Broad.
Shush. What would you not rather have spent your ticket price on?
You know, like those those carnival, like the kind of carnival caricatures that they'll do on like boardwalks.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't spend my money on that.
Those suck.
I fall for them every time.
And you're a furry.
And
you could just go on the internet and like get.
But furries won't draw. If you tell a furry to draw you of a big head driving a tiny car, they think it's a sex thing.
That's true. I guess you're right.
And maybe it is a sex thing for those guys on the boardwalk, but I don't know that. So.
Hey, what you don't know won't hurt you. I would not rather have spent my money on I don't know. I'm sick of going to the orchestra. I'm just crying the whole time, you know.
Okay. Yeah. No. I canceled my opera subscription.
Yeah. Yeah. My membership is lapsed, and I just don't think I can do it. Every time I go, I just cry.
Yeah. I like it doesn't have like a really great selection. It's always like Bugs this, Thunder that.
Yeah. Rites
of Spring. How many fucking times can I see Rites of Spring?
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. So I guess that's my answer.
Too many wind instruments. Just not a fan.
They gotta get more violins in there.
Can you tell how cultured we are? How much we know exactly what we're talking about?
We are so stupid. We are so fucking dumb. But in spite of that, you're our favorite. Thank you for listening. We're gonna be so we had a poll. What was the subject of the poll?
It was It was like
actresses who commonly get typecast.
Yes, I think it was specifically like typecast. It was like Revenge of the Typecast. It was like actresses who kind of gotten written off or typecast,
Right?
And movies that they had been in that we thought were like really, really good and showed off that they're like actually they're really good actresses.
Yeah.
And not Megan's body.
Fox?
Megan Fox won with Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
Which actually I think about it, she kind of is playing a sort of typecast character, but like a good version.
It's different. I've already
yeah.
seen Jennifer's Body once before. I'm excited to revisit because it's a fucking banger. But that's really exciting. Join our Patreon because that's going to be exclusive to our Patreon subscribers. That's talking about Jennifer's Body.
Every
not
month,
literally about Jennifer's. You know what I mean.
The movie Jennifer's Body.
The film.
Every month we do a Throws It Back special. It's very similar to these processes, but it's us talking about an older film that is voted on by you, the fans.
You, the fans.
And we think next month is we'll let it be a surprise.
Yeah, fuck it. Because I don't even know yet. You know what? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But thank you again. Join us next time. I'm Barroo.
I'm Jae Bearhat. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, also patrons get to hear these 3 days early, and they get full episodes 1 week early.
Yeah, so if you want to be VIP,
and they get their names in it. So if you want to see your name on it,
VIP.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Ah!